Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Good Old Fish Tank Podcast, Episode 5, and I am joined by none other than. What's your name now? You're supposed to introduce
Super
yourself.
Super Mario Landry. You can call me either way.
Mario. We'll call him Mario.
Yes, that sounds great.
And, well, just not the Mario that you're thinking of.
No, no.
So, just for the people who don't know you, who are listening, you're going to tell them a bit about yourself.
Yes, absolutely. Basically, I do YouTube and Twitch. I broadcast Tuesday to Sundays on YouTube at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and Tuesday to Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Twitch. Basically, touching on games that you enjoy, actually, too. The Fallout series, the Elder Scrolls series. I'll be touching up on the Assassin's Creed series later on this year sometime. And yeah, I just enjoy playing that and basketball too. I'm a big basketball fan ever since I was young. Basically, I'm on all social media platforms, including Twitter. My handle there is at capital SOOPA, capital MARIO. Feel free to follow me on that. That's the platform that I'm most active on. So if you guys need updates as for rescheduling conflicts or anything like that, that's where you can reach me.
And, of course, I'll be putting a link to all of them in the description. So, if
Okay.
anyone wants to go ahead and follow, they sure can. So, is there anything that you'd like to start off with? We don't necessarily have to talk about Assassin's Creed because I'm not
Oh,
exclusively an
we,
Assassin's
we
Creed
don't
podcast.
we don't have to, but I know that you're knowledgeable about the Assassin's
I'm
Creed
also,
series.
I also know that we share common interest in the Elder Scrolls and
Yes.
Fallout. So
Hmm.
I suppose we
So,
could. I'm not
yeah.
sure about NBA, but I suppose we could talk about that a little bit too. So why don't we run up to the Assassin's Creed business because people will want to listen to that the most. So we'll start off with talking about I don't know, your favorite games, shall we say? Tell them what your favorite games are.
Well, keeping in mind, I don't really pick favorites and stuff like that because, there are games that I have yet to play and stuff like that.
Of the
But
ones you've played.
the ones that I've played, though, I really have a personal attachment to Assassin's Creed 2. I found
Oh,
that
he's one
the
of us.
lore. Oh, yes,
He's one of
absolutely.
us.
Yeah,
It's a good
I,
day.
it is.
He's one of us.
I just love it. It's the Italian Renaissance. It's very historically accurate, very well produced. The voice acting is solid. The music is memorable. The characters, you really feel emotionally invested into it.
I agree
And
completely.
the
Excellent.
immersion is it's one of the best. It's arguably the best in the series
It's the best Assassin's Creed game by a good distance.
by a
And then
wide
I'd say
margin.
it was probably followed by closely by Brotherhood,
Yes.
but
I
it's still got quite a bit of distance between Brotherhood and then there's a little bit of a difference between them. Like there's quite a distance when you think about it, but by comparison to the other ones, it's really quite close.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah,
So there's that, and then there's of course the basketball games. I have to mention them very quickly because I was an NBA Live guy for probably very many years, ever since NBA Live, I believe '95. That was back in 1994. They actually used it for the year after for some strange reason, but ever since then I was a big NBA Live guy. And then when 2K came around in 2002. I got attached to that, and the NBA 2K series has been a staple in my life for a very good many years. So,
yeah. Most sports, when they do them annually, they come out the year before the game's year. So, for example, we have FIFA, which is football.
yes.
So, say FIFA 2017 will come out in September of this year because the football season in this country starts in August of this year and then
Oh,
carries through until about May.
okay.
So,
Uh,
although
I
that's
have to get into some FIFA, actually. There's a few friends who want me to play some FIFA with
It's
them,
it's
and
it's a massive circle jerk, to be honest with you. I mean, get
it's true.
2004 and you can foul people in the really gritty way, and then it's perfect. It's it is. I mean, I don't like FIFA per se because I'm not a sporty person. You know me, I stick to my martial arts and stuff like that. But
Right.
that little one thing is FIFA 2004. You can sliding tackle people, and it is brutal.
That's awesome. I wish they had something like that in basketball because I get frustrated playing it very hardcore. So I would like to have just like a clothesline option or something.
Just punch someone in the face.
Oh, totally. Yeah,
I
I don't
don't
care
think
if I
there
get
are any
ejected.
rugby games, and I've seen the scraps in rugby. They're proper all out fisticuffs as well.
Yeah. Here's an interesting factoid about the rugby games. They're made here in Nova Scotia.
Cool.
Oh yeah.
So that means you're gonna be up there doing your thing
I
in the
actually
crowd.
Yeah.
with your red cap, hat down, just like, hey, what's up?
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
Mario. Subscribe to the YouTube.
Or I'll punch you.
Or I'll do a rugby punch.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
But I mean, I actually applied to the studios. I think it's called it's H Studios is now what it's called, and I applied there when I think it was about 4 years ago, and they rejected my. I was going to do video game testing, but they rejected my application because I didn't have any prior experience. So that's kind of a downer.
I don't get that. I mean, if you can't get a job in that, and Donald
Yeah.
Trump is almost the president of the United States with no political background, what is going on?
It's true.
I mean, talking about qualifications and whatnot, I
Yes.
had my first GCSE exam of this year this morning,
Okay.
and I've been looking on Twitter. I've just been typing in exam and then going to live, and the feed is just people complaining of mice and men. Just
Oh, really?
oh my god, they could have used better things, and they were complaining about the poetry, just like I think it's Auntie Jane Fish, yeah, sure, same, and there's OK Greg, and everyone's just talking like they don't understand a thing. But I was like, come on, guys, you're picking now. You're picking at straws just to complain.
Yeah, that's nitpicking,
It was
yeah.
not that bad. That everyone's grasping at straws because they want to complain. Because the British education system, although it is sort of at the moment it's fine, it's gradually getting worse and worse because everything's getting harder.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So apparently, 11-year-olds in this country have to do, I don't know, they have to do like algebra now,
Oh, wow.
which I don't even understand now, and I'm approaching my 16th birthday, so
Wow.
You know.
And the exact opposite is happening here in North America, whereas everything is getting gradually less and less
Oh.
difficult.
that,
At least from my experience. I mean, they're not even learning, they're learning basic mathematics in the third grade here.
well. That's the other end of the spectrum. That's getting worse and worse for the wrong reason. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's got to be. They've got to find the balance with the education system. Now, I'm no politician, but if
No.
something's too easy or too hard, it's not an accurate representation of the capabilities of that student.
Right.
Because in a working environment, what are the chances that you're going to be asked to work out the square root of E?
Yeah.
I mean, you can understand the logic behind it. That's fine. I mean, most people do because that's what algebra is about, isn't it? It's about learning how the operation works. But
Right.
if you put numbers in there, it's so much easier. You can do it. And
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
You don't actually have to understand the baseline to understand. It just seems like an unnecessary hurdle that's put there.
That's
Like
true.
putting a 10-foot wall in the middle of a parkour course or something.
That's true.
I mean, you can find your way over it, I guess, if you're like,
Yeah.
I don't know, 7 feet tall. But you can do stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But
So-
yeah, the education system. I mean, it's a farce over here at this point now. Even post-secondary institutions are getting a little bit weary. I mean, we've all seen the SJW stuff.
The word institution.
Yeah,
That can also be used to describe a prison. Am I noticing any similarities here?
yeah, exactly.
I mean, me with my education system here is I'm quite lucky really because I'm not having an issue with it per se, but I do have issues with sort of the lessons sometimes because I have had one teacher who didn't teach, like went into maths and he just sat there with his
Right.
massive Boss Nass frown. You know who Boss Nass is from the family.
Oh
Values.
yeah.
And it just looks like spitting image. Just that this is a white Caucasian male and not a green fish,
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
and not a green pike-based animal. So,
Yeah.
he's sort of
If I could speak from personal experience too, because I went to a post-secondary institution when I went to radio and television broadcasting, and I quarreled with the headmaster in the ways that they were trying to teach the course. He was a very strict individual, and
Oh.
we made fun of him because he looked like Ned Flanders too.
Ned Flanders.
And-
Hang on, let me get an image up on my PC.
He was pretty much spot on, looking like Ned Flanders, and that would be the running joke. But he was a very stern individual, not humorous at all. He was very much by the book, and there was no life in the classroom. Right? It was a rigid. It almost like you said earlier, it was like a prison.
Oh,
And I
can you
didn't
just
like
imagine
that
a
method.
teacher that
And
looks like Ned Flanders just be stood there with his like
Yeah,
with his clean cut hair that's sort of going long at the back and the really outrageous mustache and
with
no form of
with the
aging
same sweater
whatsoever,
vest and
and a
everything.
green sweater, a green sweater with a pink shirt under it.
That's exactly what he was. Yeah,
Yeah, my good mathematics teacher had a pink shirt, so I'm not going to hold that against good old head teacher over there,
yeah.
because
But I
my
mean,
old
when I
maths
went
teacher
to
was
like
good.
middle school, for example, my science teacher there was really enthusiastic, and he would get up on the desk and he would show, gravity. He would create a vacuum. He was very enthusiastic, and that made the lessons a lot more easy to swallow, especially
Yeah,
for middle school.
I
So
I find that lessons that are broken down by entertainment are a lot easier to understand, which is
exactly,
why I'm so knowledgeable about Assassin's Creed or Elder
yeah,
Scrolls or Fallout and how I know all the stuff that I do know because I'm actually interested and invested in it. And
hmm
if they sort of implemented that into the education system, not in a gaming way, sack
no,
gaming
no,
for the education system, that would just not be good. But
no,
to have like the interactive sort of entertaining sort of side
right,
to it and
right.
fair
If you
play.
don't mind, I have a question for you, Ethan. How did you come about finding out about the Elder Scrolls series?
Um, Well, I've always known about Morrowind. It's just been in the back of my head since I was about four.
I see.
But I think the first Elder Scrolls game I played was Skyrim. To my shame, I got an Xbox 360 in 2012, so not that big of a gamer by then.
Right,
So when I got it, one of the games that came with it was Skyrim,
right.
and I just lost myself in that game completely. Got all the DLC,
hmm
completed it all, did it all, and then I got a PC sometime in 2014, and I got it over there. Then I started modding it, and then I got a Morrowind and then Oblivion, and I played those, and I loved them too.
Oh, nice.
I mean, I didn't play the previous ones because who does that? And then I got gifted the Elder Scrolls Online like mid last year actually,
Okay.
and I put in a few hours in that, and I was like, yeah, what is this sort of thing? Like, I mean, I was pretty easy on it because I didn't buy it for myself,
Right.
but I was quite, pleased with, say, the fact that as long as I didn't consider it to be Elder Scrolls, I
Yeah.
could understand it. I mean, I considered it to be part of the lore, but
Yes.
it wasn't an RPG, and I didn't try to tackle the RPG element so much, and I just played it for the enjoyment of playing it, and I thought, yeah, this is not bad when you think about it in that way, but when you think about Elder Scrolls and compare it to this and think about this is Elder Scrolls as well, you think, what is this?
Yeah.
You know what I'm
It's
saying?
a
It's just like this is obviously not made by Bethesda, so what's going on?
yeah, exactly. I was the same way when I found out about that. It seems like it's kind of lost in itself. It doesn't know what it quite wants to be. And
It's
but
trying
it
to
still
get.
has the lore stuff in there, and that's pretty good.
It does have the lore in there, but it's not as expansive as say, I
Like
don't know,
even a Morrowind, like it's insane. Um,
Morrowind's lore is about 5 times as deep as Skyrim's,
oh yes,
and
definitely.
Oblivion's lore. I don't even know if Oblivion's lore chips the surface. To be fair,
That's true. It's kind of like it's the Elder Scrolls Light. I think it's probably the least popular of the series as well
what Oblivion?
because yeah, Oblivion.
Oblivion, I can
It,
understand why. I mean, if you look at Morrowind was full of challenge and adventure,
and
and then
very
there
deep and
was,
oh
and
my
then there
goodness.
was Skyrim, which was full of adventure, challenge,
Mhm.
beautiful graphics, beautiful scenery,
Yeah.
interesting characters, and heads flying all over the place.
Yeah.
So there's a little balance between them. And with Oblivion, they didn't really get the balance per se. What they had was it was too green. The
Yeah, that's
faces
true.
didn't. The faces were awful,
Yeah, they were.
and
Thankfully for the mod community, they corrected that.
yeah, I never installed many mods for Oblivion because no matter what I did, they wouldn't work.
Yeah.
So I just avoided mods and Oblivion. I played like about I don't know about 100 hours of Oblivion,
Oh wow.
and I thought, yeah, nah. No, I'm not gonna get into this one as much as I am.
Yeah,
Morrowind and Skyrim are the best Elder Scrolls games by far. Like I think
definitely. Yeah.
Skyrim really is the best game like of all time for me.
So far, yeah,
But
definitely I agree with you.
Morrowind is really close behind. But I love Assassin's Creed 2 almost as much as I do Skyrim, so it's a really close call on those three.
Yeah. Incidentally, I have a tattoo of the Assassin's Creed logo on my right arm, as well as the Oblivion one on the other side too. Because Oblivion, for me, it was different because I understand that it's probably the least
Doesn't
favorable.
make it a bad game by any
It
stretch.
doesn't make it a bad game, understandably so, but there's a much more of an emotional attachment for me because I was in a very dark place. I wasn't even gaming for about a period of about 5 years, as I recall. And when I was met with a friend and he had an Xbox 360, he was playing Oblivion, and I was like, "What is this game?" He said it's the Elder Scrolls Oblivion, and I just saw it, and I saw the immensity and the immersiveness and just the diversity of it all, and I was blown away. I was like, "This is what's going to get me back into gaming."
And then Skyrim came along,
And then my socks were blown off.
and your socks were blown off, and out came quite a lot of other things.
Lint and toenails and
Yeah, I was thinking more along the line with something beginning with S, but we're not going to get into that because children watch this.
that's true. But I actually went to a EB Games, which is like the equivalent of a GameStop or something like that, here in Canada, and I was out in the cold for about 4 hours waiting for my collector's edition. I have Alduin right over there.
Oh,
And- oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
and it was a 4 hour bus ride, actually a 6 hour bus ride to the city because we only have one city really here in Nova Scotia.
what
So
city is that?
it's Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Halifax, got you.
Yeah, it's a beautiful
Assassin's
place.
Creed Rogue.
Oh yes, because you can go to Oak Island over there. So, actually, it's in 3 as well. You go to Oak Island in 3, don't you?
I'm not sure 110%, but I know that Halifax is in Assassin's Creed Rogue because
Okay, that
Yeah.
makes me want to play Rogue because I haven't gotten into. I didn't play Revelations. I skipped right to 3.
I think
and
you
I
should
got about
definitely
halfway
play
through.
Revelations. I mean,
Yes.
if you love, say, 2 and Brotherhood,
Yes,
Revelations is going to make you cry.
probably, yeah.
It's going to make you
That's probably why I don't want to play it because I'll be so emotionally invested. I'll be a wreck by the end of it.
You won't be emotionally invested for some of it,
Okay.
but you do feel like, oh god, this is awesome. It has, sort of like how when it's a final game with a character, it has some form of one last time feel to it.
I see what you mean. Okay.
It's sort of like that towards. I'd say it's more like that towards the end, though. To be
Because
fair.
I think Ezio Auditore was probably my favorite character so far.
Yeah, well,
Because I feel so kind of like there's a lot of similarities between he and I in a much more personal level. You know what I mean?
yeah.
He was kind of a rapscallion when he was younger, and as he got old, he understood his purpose and so forth. And there's a bit of an honor in there, and it's great. Like I just don't want to see him end.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good game, but Revelations of the 3 Ezio games, Revelations is the weakest, I'd say.
Okay.
But at the same time, it'll make it's got some brilliant stuff in there, and the
Nice.
soundtrack in it on its own is just perfect.
The soundtrack in general for the Assassin's Creed games, it just blows me away
Depends
sometimes.
if you
Just
talk-
Jesper Kid did a very good job there.
Yeah, I mean, depends on which Assassin's Creed game you're talking about. I mean, Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, Revelations 3, 4, and Syndicate, they have some good composers, as well as Rogue. Rogue has an amazing soundtrack. But
Nice.
Assassin's Creed 1 soundtrack was a little bit lacking.
It was
more
it was
nostalgic.
lacking. Yeah, I
Yeah, and
understand.
Assassin's Creed Unity soundtrack was just as bad as the game, to be fair.
That's true.
And Unity was just a wreck.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't touch Unity with a barge pole. Well, I do because I make constant videos bashing it. But like, I make a video where I dress up as a neon green, just social justice warrior of sorts, and run around and talk about how Pierre Ballec's hair looks sort of like a mix between spaghetti and a terminal disease. So, yeah, I mean, you look at it and it's got like really clippy and it looks really awful.
Oh wow.
And the hair in Unity, oh god, I don't want to talk about the hair in Unity. I mean, even Elise's hair, and Elise's hair was all right. It looked like what it looked like was just like little spaghetti strands coming from her head. And the
Oh, my
faces, well, what faces?
Oh my goodness. I had a problem with I played wrestling games too. I'm a big wrestling guy, professional wrestling. And I've noticed like from about SmackDown versus Raw, the very first one, till about SmackDown versus Raw, I don't remember which one it was, 2010 maybe or so, the hair and the faces were just terrible. Although you could make like Dragon Ball Z characters and stuff like that. But if you were looking for a realistic wrestler to recreate, it was near impossible unless you used mods or something.
Mods. You need to use them mods.
Oh man, I'm a mods guy.
Oh yeah, modding a game is good. I mean, I wouldn't mod Assassin's Creed ever because I
No,
don't feel as if modding will really enhance my experience
yeah,
because the game isn't designed with mods in mind.
that's
But
true.
say with Skyrim, Fallout, etc.,
Yes,
those games are designed with modding sort of in mind, aren't they? They're
yeah.
sort of
They
modding's
kind
in
of
the
rely
loop.
on them as like a crutch, if you will, because they kind of rely on the modding community to fix bugs that they may have overlooked.
They rely on the modding community to make their games even better than how they've made them. To be fair,
Exactly.
I
That's
mean
why
they
they have a
want people
contest for
to.
Fallout 4 right now.
I mean, everyone who plays Skyrim on PC, none of them can say they've had the exact same experience, and that's thanks to modding.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I suppose modding in, say, games like that, say Skyrim, Fallout, all of
yeah,
them are put there to sort of enhance the experience in a way that no one else ever has done.
exactly. I watch a YouTuber, if I can plug him, actually. His name is Gopher, and
Gopher, yeah, I've
yeah,
watched, I watch him
he's
too.
really good at modding, and I
He makes
learned
his
a
own
lot
mods.
about modding. And he makes his own mods. He's a mod author. Yes, I've used some of
He made,
his HUDs and his UI and stuff like
oh
that.
yeah, the HUD thing that also was it. He made a sort of immersion mod where
Hmm.
was it wet and cold? Did he make or was it?
Yeah, no, he was part of the Wet and Cold, though. I think yes,
Yeah, I mean,
it
I
was a
couldn't
team
mod like
effort there.
Gopher because Gopher does some proper. You're gonna need the script extender for this, son. Sort of stuff,
Exactly.
doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, SKSE. So I always use that, and he's my go-to in terms of using mods for Skyrim and Oblivion and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't really make Skyrim content anymore, does he?
No, he's more invested in Fallout, I think, lately. I haven't watched his channel in a couple of months, actually.
Yeah, neither have I. I mean, I think he did say that he wasn't gonna make more Skyrim content, but
Okay.
we all know what it's like. What everyone's like with Skyrim. You say that, and then about a month later,
Yeah.
here we are back again, old friend, sort of thing.
It's difficult to put Skyrim down because sometimes you'll see things that you didn't notice before. For example, I have a friend who didn't notice that there was a Knights of the Nine in the upper north region of Solitude.
And
If you go to like a desolate island, he's buried in the snow, and he's
oh,
like, "I never encountered that before," and he's like, "This
I've
is
never
making me
encountered that.
excited." Oh, there you go, perfect.
And also, if you go south of Falkreath up the mountain and look down on the city, and then turn around and there's like a little. Well, when you go up the mountain, there's like a little shack up there,
Oh
and you
yeah,
go up
that's right.
there. You can talk to this lady. She'll give you some free archery lessons, and every single lesson you get an extra sort of skill set.
Oh
You
really?
get
I
an
did
extra
not know
sort
that.
of advancement of skills in the archery tree. So for early on in archery, it's pretty good.
Oh wow,
As
that's
well as
awesome.
say many other places like in I think it's the little place where you go with her scene quest. There's like a
Yes,
sword in there that's quite good early on.
yes. Okay, that's awesome. I did not know that. I gotta go do it now.
Yeah, yeah. It's just south of Falkreath. You go up the think the mountain past the ancestor glade
Hmm.
from the Dawn God DLC.
Right.
And they just keep going, and then you'll be there, the sort of thing. I mean, there'll be a path up there regardless of whether or not you got Ancestor Glade installed.
Yes.
Or
Right.
Dawn Guard DLC, sorry. But
Mhm.
the pathway will be altered, and it'll probably be a lot easier to access. But although it's quite difficult to get up there, maybe sometimes, once
Yeah.
you're up there, it's got a beautiful view of Falkreath, and then you've got like eight skill sets.
Yeah.
Eight skills, seven of which you can get from this woman who teaches you archery, and one you
Wow.
can get from a book that's in a shack.
Oh wow.
And it's just perfect.
Oh man, that's incredible.
I
See, it's so big. You don't know. You never really completed the game. The game
No,
completes you.
the game does complete you, yeah, because there's so much to do that there is no end to it. It's sort of like, say, it's sort of like real life in a sense, because real life doesn't necessarily have an end. There's always a new turn, always something new happening, and
Exactly.
Skyrim's just that.
Exactly.
There's always
I really
something new
admire
happening.
Bethesda. I have to tell you this. I really admire Bethesda for dedicating themselves to single player game experiences because there are very few of them lately.
Yeah,
You know, you can argue like Undertale, which is a recent phenomenon, and that's been very successful as an independent game. But there are very few single player games that are dedicated. So it really warms my heart to see that still a thing because that's what I grew up on. You know what I mean? If you had multiplayer, it was local. It was, the Mario Brothers. That's what I grew up on.
Ah,
So
so was your birth name Mario as well?
yes, I'm French. So
He
yeah,
he, he is le français.
je suis français acadien.
Oui.
Oui.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, I'm French first language. I just learned English as I went through school. So
Wait, hang on. So you were raised speaking French?
correct. But it's a very different type of French. It's regional. So we have a different expression for, let's say, window in French would be fenêtre, right? We don't
Yes.
say fenêtre. We say chaussee
I think
because
I've heard that one before, to be fair.
yeah, like it's a very prime example. And instead of saying only, only is seulement, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So we don't say that. We say yak. I never think of the word only and associate it with a woolly bison. So
You've got a mix there between French and something else that you picked
yes,
up along
we
the way.
have because we have a lot of prominent Scottish ancestry here because Nova Scotia, New Scotland,
Oh, that
and
would explain it. Scottish.
yeah,
The Scottish language. What is it? Celtic.
Gaelic, isn't it?
Something like that.
Something like that. Plus, we
But
have a lot of indigenous area around here, so it's Mi'kmaq, which is associated actually with Assassin's Creed 3. They have a denomination for uh, the Mohawk tribe. So, yeah, there's a lot of depth there.
ah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
It's the last of a dying breed. I mean, I have heard my parents, for example, say words that I don't even know what they mean. And we have to write books about this stuff because some people know what these terms mean, and it's a dying language. 25 languages die every year. So this is
gotta
one
keep
of
hold
them
of
that's going to
yours.
be dead in the next maybe 25 years or so.
You just gotta keep hold of your language and make sure it lives.
Exactly. We have to
Yeah.
teach to other generations.
I mean, my first language is obviously English because that's what being raised in England. I
Yes.
suppose that's what you'd expect, wouldn't you? And
Yeah,
also,
exactly.
the British education system doesn't really do much to teach a second language. I
Oh,
mean, if they started teaching a second language from, say, the age of 5,
hmm.
by the time you're 11, you'd be fluent, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's true.
And I
Yeah.
feel as if they should have done that, but they haven't. You only start learning French in when you're about 11, 12.
I see.
And then it's either French or Spanish. So you can
Yeah,
learn
Spanish would
French,
be another
Spanish,
language to
German.
capitalize on.
You can learn French, Spanish, German, or Dutch. It
Ooh.
depends on the year of your birth, though, because
Oh, I
say
see.
one age will do, say, French. The age afterwards will do Spanish. The one after will be doing German. The one after will be doing Dutch,
Hmm.
sort of thing. And then you can have the option to choose that as GCSE.
Right.
I mean, I did French at like at the start of secondary school for 3 years,
Oh, wow.
and to say that I have a very vague understanding of the language. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's a rather complicated one.
it's not as complicated as English, believe me.
No.
I mean, here in the United Kingdom, I'd say about 90% of Britons don't speak fluent English.
That's true.
We're
Yeah.
all illiterate and like ridiculously bad, to be fair. I
It's
mean,
true. Even the
uh,
transition to like a Mandarin Chinese to English is very difficult. And
well,
English to Mandarin Chinese and vice versa, you know what I mean?
yeah,
So,
well, if you wanted to learn Mandarin, you'd have to learn another language and then translate it through that, wouldn't you?
yeah, definitely.
I mean,
And-
because Mandarin has some words that just don't have a meaning in our language,
exactly.
and
I
vice
believe
versa, to be
the
fair.
Chinese have the same word for crisis as they do for opportunity. It's just in the way you say it that makes the distinction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my Mandarin is poor, just to say, and I mean, I'm not
Like,
great with languages, to be fair. I mean,
yeah, language is more of a fascination of mine. I love the way people communicate, what words they choose to use, and so on. I've always been fascinated with that since I was young, especially with euphemisms, for example. Because here's a nice little funny story. You'll probably appreciate this one. When I
oh,
was about maybe 4 years old, I was, you know how a child can be very honest, right?
yeah,
So
too honest.
basically, I had an aunt who had a mole on her face, and I was like, "Mommy, why does she have a mole on her face?" And my mother was quick to correct me, and she said, "She doesn't have a mole. She has a beauty mark." And I thought to myself, "Oh, okay." Well, my uncle also has a brown thing on his face, and it's clearly not a beauty mark. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
So
remember
that's
when
where the fascination with language started with me.
yeah, well, I had a very well, when I was, quite young, I've been told this several times. I think it's about the first time I saw a black person. And,
Okay.
and I said that apparently I said that lady has brown skin and right in front of her, and I was like,
Yeah.
I mean, I wish I could find that woman and just say, yeah, yeah, I was 4. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I mean, I
exactly.
don't remember it, so I must have been younger than 4 because apparently anything that you remember from before 4 years old is just a fabrication.
Yeah, because there's selective memory in there, and there's false memories as well. Some
And,
people can have
and
multiple
then
false.
there's the development of consciousness, but
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
then
you're not 100% conscious
yeah,
until I'd say at least until at least mid puberty. You're not fully conscious.
that's right. Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't. When you look back on things,
Hmm.
say from I don't know. Well, I look back on when I was 10, and I think, God, I was mental,
That's true.
naive, all of it. I mean, I wouldn't be like that now. So I feel as if I've gained consciousness since then, and I'm more,
Exactly. You just
wide
become more
awake.
aware of things, and your brain starts to develop, and
Yeah.
it just finishes its development roughly around your late 20s, early 30s or so.
Oh, so I've got more development to go.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
This is exciting. I
It's
mean, the human
optimistic too.
body grows until about 30 years old.
Yes,
I
and then
mean,
after 36, it
that's
starts to
without the
deteriorate. Or
noticeable
so.
effects.
Yeah.
It'll grow until about 30,
Yeah.
and then all that will grow will be, I don't know,
Yeah, I'm
your
starting to
mind.
deteriorate. I'm 36, so my knees are starting to get worse now, and my feet and stuff.
The age difference here is 20 years.
Oh wow,
Isn't that brilliant?
I know. Generation gap.
Yeah, it's like 2 generations actually. I think,
Yeah, oh yeah, totally.
like depending on when. No, it'll be about a generation, I'd say.
Yeah, but that's a good opportunity because I realize that, like in my case, for my YouTube channel, for example, my audience is much younger, around your age, right? So this is probably a great way for me to teach them about video game culture from my perspective, going from the old school BI before internet up until now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also find that YouTube is a good way to connect with people who are out of your age groups
That's
necessarily,
true. And you meet people, such brilliant people from all over the world, like yourself, Ethan, and you
and
know what I
vice versa.
mean? Yeah, exactly. So it's such a great opportunity, and for somebody like me who has like depression and anxiety from, just a plethora of problems that I've had throughout my life, but this is a really good way for me to reconcile that and try to figure out, how to get social again, how to get out there again and network and get into business again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand where you're coming from when you're talking about anxiety because I too suffer from it.
Yeah.
Like I recently was prescribed propanolol for it. Have you ever
Nice.
heard of that?
Yes, I have. I've probably
It
had that at some
reduces
point.
the heart rate by about 6 beats per minute. It's not that strong, but it will keep you calm.
Right.
It's a by reducing your heart rate and reducing strain or slowing
Hmm.
your heart so your blood's not pumping so fast and your brain's not working so hard. And
Right.
you can just relax a little bit. And, I did take that up until recently when I started to experience some nasty side effects,
Yeah.
such as my limbs went dead pretty much. They felt sort of hollowed out a little bit
I
and they
see.
felt
Yeah.
weak and I was, coughing. I had a massive headache and I just stopped
Hmm.
and then it just all got better and I thought, yeah, now I'm gonna have to find a new way to tackle this and
Hmm.
YouTube has been my way of tackling it for quite a while. I mean, I've not suffered from it for as long as I've been doing YouTube. It sort of picked up halfway down the line. But
Absolutely.
I mean, as I started getting invested into it, I just it just gets easier and easier. To be fair,
Oh, absolutely, man. I agree, and I echo that sentiment wholeheartedly. Same boat as I am in because I'm actually on some pretty harsh antidepressants right now. In fact, this has led to, and I hate to bring this up, but this has led to I have had the same problems as my uncles who have killed themselves. They committed suicide. So it's the same prescription drugs that my mother's taking and that I'm taking. So I actually have to go for a refill this evening, and it's really trying at times. So YouTube is a way to let out some excess frustration, and it's really the only time that I smile and I have fun and I laugh. And otherwise, I'm much of a curmudgeon. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Just salty and like my back hurts, and
just just salt and a little bit of vinegar on the sides,
Exactly.
just
At least this way, it gives me a positive feedback that my brain needs. You know what I mean?
yeah, of course. And why I sometimes what I do sometimes is why I like share streams when I find them is sort of because I want to help people out a little bit because I always wanted to do that when I had a few subscribers, and also because I just realized that some people could be streaming, they might be having a bad day. And
Yes.
sometimes having, I don't know, several dozen people come in and say something really nice at
Yes.
once is the most enlightening thing ever. I mean, I experienced my first raid early. Well, I think it was on Friday last week.
Oh. Oh wow.
My first official being raided, and it
Nice.
was by someone who I was watching about 30 minutes prior.
Oh wow.
Like I said, right, okay, gotta go. I didn't tell them what I was gonna do, so I started on the stream. And then little did I know that they would come and raid me. So
Oh, that was very nice of them. Congratulations, man. You deserve it, man. You deserve every subscriber you have. You're
and
a
I
really
gained
good guy.
maybe 10 subscribers from that. I mean, there are little things that please me a lot, and I think it's just the thought that makes me happy about it. It's not necessarily the growth or anything like that. I
Yes.
mean, it's
And
just
it,
the thought.
and I agree with you wholeheartedly. Paying it forward and trying to help each other out, being and trying to build a community that's very kind, just as you are, and giving it 110%. Well, you can't really give it 110%, but you know what I mean. It's
Yeah,
just,
well, you can give it 110% if you think about it. I mean, you can give it your all,
yes.
and then some.
Yeah, you can get your second wind and your third wind and so on.
Like, you can give it your best crack, and then you
Absolutely.
can just take a step back and then come back to it afterwards and continue.
Yes, and it's a beautiful thing. It really brings people together and it gives you that warm feeling.
And yeah, common interests as well. So people
Yeah.
who you do bring together like the same thing as you.
Yeah, definitely.
Sorry about that. I have like that. You know when you have mucus, it just builds up at the back of your throat.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
I am.
I used to
prone.
smoke almost 3 packs a day, so I got the mucus problem when I was young.
Yeah, yeah, I've got that too quite a lot actually.
Yeah, I don't recommend smoking. It's not a very good idea.
Yeah, but I don't smoke. Don't worry.
That's good.
I
That's
just
good.
had the mucus problem.
Yeah.
But smoking now, I've never been really attracted to it.
No.
I mean, I've never really tried it either, so I'd probably eat the thing before I smoked it. I'd probably just chew it and swallow it and be like, yeah, it's tasty, that's really nice.
Now,
And
I don't understand the whole vaping phenomenon. People who don't smoke start vaping
it's like
just for the
e-cig,
sport of it to make a huge cloud. I don't understand that.
when you sort of inhale the cloud, it unleashes like a taste in your mouth and a sensation down into your lungs.
Yes.
And from what I've been told, it's quite a nice sensation. I thought, wow.
Well, it's a
essentially
very
like
lightheaded
smoking,
sensation.
but-
Everything just kind of goes like you're a little bit wavy or something.
No, I don't think it's quite like that. I mean,
Oh, I see. Okay.
you can take it and then you can be perfectly fine. It's essentially the same thing as smoking, just without the. I think it isn't as bad because it doesn't have the tar and stuff.
Correct. Yes.
But
But we still don't know enough about vaping to understand its long-term effects. It's a relatively new phenomenon. So
yeah, nobody's actually got to the long term effect yet.
exactly.
But I have a good few friends who vape, and
Hmm.
they're all
And it's a
fine.
much more pleasant. It's a much more pleasurable smell for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you smell it, and I mean, if someone vapes, say, in a room, you go into that room and you're like, you're not like, oh, this smells like tobacco. You're like, oh, this smells like bubble gum. This is
Yeah,
nice.
exactly. Or strawberries or something.
You just
right?
want to be in that room, don't you?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
So I can understand the benefit in that regard, but now it's becoming a competition, like a sports competition or
the
something.
vape fest,
The vape fest, yes. I'm like,
whatever that
that's
means.
bizarre.
Yeah,
And
I mean, it
people
doesn't
who
need to
never
be a
smoked
sport.
before, it was basically used initially as an aid for people who were chronic smokers to alleviate
e-cig.
the habit.
It's basically an e-cigarette, isn't it?
Correct, yes.
That's what they use, and I mean, I don't see it. I think that it's sort of an addiction for some people.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not easily addicted to anything, so if I was to try something, I'd be like, okay, well, that was the thing. Yeah, I'm not going to try that again, or from time to time sort of thing. Say, for example, with alcohol, I mean, I have had my run-ins with it before, and
Yes.
I think it's nice,
Right.
from depending on what it is,
Exactly.
but I ain't addicted, sort of thing.
No.
Like
See,
I'm
whereas
hot.
when I was drinking when I was young, I drank. When did I first start drinking? Like roughly around 16, 17 years old, and I was really bad because I have alcoholism on both sides of my family. So I got very addicted to it, and eventually it took over my life. I don't remember much of my 20s, for example, because I drank so darn much. I would drink at the job and stuff like that. So I
Oh,
just,
that's
it was bad. It was really bad. Whiskey and the cornflakes bad. Um,
whiskey and cornflakes.
oh yeah, it was
Whiskey
bad.
and what? Just like pouring whiskey in your cornflakes and
That's right. And going
oh
to work.
yeah. Well, here we usually put orange juice or milk with it, but
Yes.
I've never been to Canada, so I don't know what you people do with the
No,
cornflakes.
we
But
we think drinking is like a right. You know what I mean?
uh
We drink a lot over here. I think there was a poll by Pew that suggested that Canadians drink 50% more than the rest of the world, and Nova Scotia specifically has a problem. But I don't know. I don't think it was Pew. I don't understand why they would get how they would get that
you
data.
don't remember that being conducted because you don't remember any of your 20s.
Exactly, exactly. So this was brought to my attention by people who were sober at the time.
And he thought, nah, you should just get
Yeah.
away with that stuff.
But thankfully, I've been 6 years sober, and I don't foresee ever drinking again because it's such a problem here in my family and stuff. So
I mean, I'd just recommend sticking with Coca-Cola or
or soda,
water.
what have you.
Water
Yeah,
at that. I mean, water's a good
I'm a
thing.
water guy. Yeah, exactly. A lot of people put this Mia stuff in there. You know that it tastes like Kool-Aid or something like that. It's water, man.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, I drink water pretty raw. You know,
yes,
like, if it's water, it's water. If
yes,
it's carbonated water, even better.
yeah,
But
definitely.
I
I
mean, I
don't mind.
won't stick exclusively to water. I will drink, say, the odd beverage here and there, depending on what it is. Of course, if it's too much, I'll be like, no.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
you know, if it's offered and it's fine, I'll be like, okay, sure, one maybe. And
Yes,
then well, if it's another sort of drink that's not like, so say it's a soft drink, I'll have that too. I mean,
yes. I'm the same way. Actually haven't had a soft drink in about 2 years now that I think of it. But carbonated water, for example, or flavored water, I'll have every now and then.
carbonated water is nice.
Yeah, soda water, that sort of thing. Club soda is what we call it here.
Yeah, another drink that's definitely great is a cup of tea.
Oh
The
yeah, Earl Grey all the way.
Earl Grey. Well, over here, I don't know what sort of tea it is, and that's sort of breaking the stereotype because I know I'm English. I should know this stuff, but and I think I go with I don't know what my tea is. It could be I don't know what it is. It's just what you put the tea bag in. You put the
Exactly.
boiled water in, and it goes like a nice dark brown. You
Yeah,
pour milk in, and it goes to like a light skin shade.
yeah,
That
definitely.
sort of tea.
Exactly. And I don't mind the herbal teas every now and then, like a green or a peppermint tea, because we have peppermint leaves that grow out here in the wild because we're a very rural area. So we can go harvest that and just put it in a tea bag. It's very simple to do.
Sounds like fun.
Oh, it's delicious.
Yeah, I mean, tea here is it's
It's
the
the
only
thing.
stereotype that North America has right about us. To be fair,
That's true.
I mean the rest of them, it's just all they're all posh. You know what I'm saying? No, well, maybe
Yes.
not.
The stereotype here for Canadians is Tim Hortons coffee, which I
I thought the
believe still to this day has nicotine in it.
I thought the stereotype was apologising, but
Well, I'm sorry about that.
oh yeah, I felt that one. Everyone's fully laughing about that. It's like I thought the stereotype was apologising. Well, I'm sorry about that. That's gonna be a quote forever. Like someone's gonna quote that in the comments. I can see that happening.
It's true. The new advertisement actually, or advert for um, Tim Hortons, as I mentioned earlier, they actually say we're sorry at the very beginning of the video, but we have a new coffee that we're going to promote.
We're sorry that we have something new to promote.
Exactly.
That's brilliant. That's
Yeah.
just like you take your stereotypes and you enjoy them.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like,
We
I
we
mean,
embrace them.
I mean, I mean, not like like Americans, like United States.
Yes.
I've always thought that they'd probably be less accepting of stereotypes and be like,
Yes.
it's not all about freedom, stuff
Yeah.
like that. I mean, I have nothing against Americans, but I think
Oh,
some of them can be cruelled up their own sometimes, can't they?
they can. Yes.
But that the same with any nationality. To be fair, it's just
Yeah.
I've noticed it with I
You can
think
be as critical as you want about yourself, but at the same time, you have to embrace it and be humorous about it,
yeah,
right?
I mean, for example, the United States seems to think we're all posh and we
Hmm.
we drink tea. The
Tea
latter
and
of which is
crumpets, yes.
true, but the former, we're not posh really. The royal
No.
family are giving us names. Why are people sort of basing the British sort of way of life on the royal family? Because
Hmm.
a the royal family are rich as the big f bomb.
I wouldn't even say that they are rich. They are exceedingly wealthy because rich is something you can
They are the
blow at
puppets of
Vegas in a weekend.
they are
Wealthy is something you
puppets.
can pass down for
And
generations.
also, the thing that most people forget is that they're all Germans.
Yes, that's true.
They are Saxe, Coburg, Gotha. The Windsor thing is just a guise.
Yes.
I mean, they're mostly British born now and English by nationality legally, but they're of German origin.
Oh, absolutely.
You
Absolutely.
know, like all the royal families of Europe were, related,
Yes, that's correct.
which meant that there was a lot of incest going down as well. So we
Yes.
thought that was exclusive to the Borgias, but
Hmm.
stuff like this, it's just now that the royal family thing in Europe sort of dying down and is
Hmm.
no longer a thing, and
Right.
we're like the only country with a royal family, I think, besides from maybe one other, which I don't know any other countries with royal families.
Well, happy Victoria Day here in Canada.
Victoria Day is in Queen Victoria.
Yes. That's what it is today. It's a holiday. Nobody's working today.
Oh, is it that today?
Yes.
Oh, talking about royalty on.
Very apropos.
Yes, I want to know why you've got that tradition though now. Is it because Victoria went over there and was like,
Well, we're still kind of a British colony. We still abide by the Queen, and she comes to visit every so often. And we basically are a composite of the Americans and the British. We basically are an amalgamation of both.
which is to say that you drink tea and support freedom.
Yes.
Excellent. Just so are your coats sort of like a mix between red and blue as well? Like you have like coats that are just like red with blue lining, or vice versa.
Well, I think it's pretty much red Mountie coats. That's pretty much what we go with, red mostly.
Ah,
Yeah.
so
But like culturally, we're annexed by the United States because there's such a cultural powerhouse, right? So we adopt a lot of socio-political things that they have. Although they have a much more secular constitution, ours is still a little bit more peppermint. Let's put it that way with
oh,
regards to the
peppermint. Gotta
yes.
like that peppermint. I'm just in that state where I'll be talking about peppermint more than I will Assassin's Creed, so it's brilliant. This is me. I mean, I did a podcast with my friend Tyler and several of other people in the community that we're sort of in,
Yes.
and we were talking about things. And one of the things that came up was another YouTuber and also a friend of mine, Tyler's. We were trying to figure out the color of his car, so you can tell how our podcasts go down. Like we tried to figure out the color of his car.
Oh my goodness.
We thought, well, but he likes green, so it could be green. But on the inside, it looks like he's got like a silvery sort of hue to it. So we settled on silver, and then he told us that it was silver, and we're like, yes. At least I was, because I come up with these strange obsessions when it comes to these things.
Oh, nice.
And everyone's just like, what is going on, Ethan? What are you up to? Come on. It's just like, this is why we can't have nice things, okay?
That,
And
that's brilliant.
yeah, it's just great to sort of do these.
Oh, it's
sort of-
excellent banter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the banter in the Assassin's Creed YouTube community, especially on the side that there are two sort of sides to
Mhm.
these Assassin's Creed community on YouTube. There's the very civilized and calm sort of side where everyone's sort of actually focused on Assassin's Creed, which I would say is the side of YouTubers such as Luma and UB Central, if you've heard of
Right.
them,
Right. Yes.
both of which are quite interesting people.
Yes. Definitely.
And then there's our side, which is just the side of me, Lasers, and Dynamite, as well as BPR Gaming would probably be somewhere in the middle,
Okay.
and other things as well. And we're sort of we're just all out savages.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I
I
mean,
love the conspiratorial side of the whole thing. It's very interesting how it wraps the conspiracy with the history. It's
oh yeah,
so bizarre.
yeah, and
But
we just ignore the history sometimes and focus on the
on the just the savagery.
conspiracy.
Yeah.
But we like the historical setting to be sort of, more well, less modern, shall we say? So
Yes. Yeah.
as you can tell, we're bigger fans of the Ezio trilogy because that's less modern and
Yes.
more honest.
And
And
it's
you
a
can play with
fascinating time period too. I mean,
what,
the Italian Renaissance, that was a huge, huge boost to humanity.
yeah, what I feel as if they can do what can be done with Assassin's Creed as far as setting goes is if they go further back,
Hmm.
they can play it around more because as they go further, well, documents are lost all the time, aren't they?
Yes, they are. Yeah.
So there's a lot more documents would have been lost from 500 years ago
Yes,
than
definitely.
300
That's right.
or 200 or 100 or
Right.
50 or 25 or 12 and a half or six and a quarter or
Yes.
three and an eighth
Hmm.
or one and no, this is where I'm going to stop. Uh, I don't know. It's like what one and a half and an extra 16th on that.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be no, 1 and 9/16. Sorted. We got there. We got there. We got to the 1 hour. One year
Yes.
thing. Or then it could be like 150 now. But anyway, so the further back it goes, the
Yes.
more history is sort of lost
Right. So
through
it can be
documents.
a little bit more fiction in
So
that
you can weave around a bit. So
Mhm.
with the rumors of Assassin's Creed going as far back as ancient Egypt now in
Yes.
2016 or
Ooh.
2017, sorry, when the next Assassin's Creed game will be. There's not
Right.
one this year. They're gonna apparently, according to the leak, they're gonna go back to ancient Egypt, which
Ooh.
is like I don't know. The pyramids were built thousands of years ago,
Oh yes. I
like
believe 6,000 years ago.
something like that. But there
Yeah.
are reports that suggest that they could have been built a lot longer ago than that.
Right.
Like they could, I think it's. Let's Google it. How long ago were the pyramids built? They got some. No single
Uh,
artifact, no single inscription or pottery or anything has been found until now.
so like
Most places could
3,600 BC, something like
more
that.
than 5,000 years ago. No one evidence the pyramids and tombs of Giza were to say no more than 5,000 years ago. That doesn't
Oh.
make any sense. But at the same time, people are saying that they could be as old as 20,000 years.
Yeah.
But that's a long time, especially
That's a
since
very long time. We wouldn't have been exactly the same primates we were.
I think in 20,000 years, not much would change, but
Mm.
at the same time, uh, you can put something on your back and carry it down the road any age, really, can't you, or any state?
Yeah.
I mean, hell, even you can even get animals that do that for you,
Yeah, definitely.
or other animals, shall I say? Because I don't. The one thing I don't like to do is put humans above other animals. When really, when on a scientific basis, we're all the same. We're all animals.
Exactly. We are all the
Like,
same.
I mean,
Exactly.
insects are more on the arthropod side, but
Hmm.
I wouldn't necessarily class an insect as an animal because they're arthropods, but at the same time, they still
Right.
are. But at the same, they're just living things. But still, the same. Like I'm saying before about the pyramids, so they have a lot further back to go,
They
which
do,
means they
yeah.
can play around with the first civilization stuff a little bit more and be a bit more
Exactly.
cryptic and sort of add in more story, add in some targets, and have less people question what the hell's going on. Because the
Exactly, because
syndicate,
that was a very important empire, and again, it's something that changed humanity. So you could put a socio-political commentary in there, and then there's the conspiracy aspect and stuff, and it has a rich potential there.
yeah,
But
I mean,
the movie is, if I can get to the movie for a moment, the Assassin's Creed movie, that's going to be taking place in the Spanish colonization era. Yes,
Inquisition.
yeah, the Spanish
Which is where
Inquisition.
they basically tried to invade Britain and got thwarted by our magnificent weather.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is to say that not the so sunny that you get a hosepipe ban weather either. I mean, it's like the other end of the spectrum where it's windy, it's going to beat the
Yeah,
sort of the holy crap out of their ships
yeah, exactly.
and stuff like that. So
So
they
that was
sort
that
of
was why I had predicted that the next Assassin's Creed game would kind of follow through with that movie. It will kind of be a movie game, but it would be its own thing. Instead
mean,
of going to Spain, it would go through Portugal to South America.
okay, if there's one thing that's worse than movies adapted as games,
Yeah, that's true.
well, sorry, if there's one thing that's worse than games adapted as movies, it's movies adapted as games.
Yeah, I know.
So, you know,
That's true.
I think they're going to steer clear of that because they're going to make a movie franchise.
Yes.
But with say the Assassin's Creed Empire leaks, where we're going back as far as ancient Egypt, they've got, if they're going further back, but like a good 1,000 years, 2,000, 3,000 years,
Right.
they have more freedom to do what they want, and I think that's where they can put in more stuff.
Yes, absolutely.
I honestly think that they can make a better Assassin's Creed game in a more ancient setting than they can, say, in Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Because as far back as, say, some Assassin's Creed games, you can go so far back that you can sort of create your own fictional stuff. But if they keep coming forward in time,
Yes.
they're going to have to make fictional stuff like fictional targets and whatnot. Because
Exactly.
the thing is with Assassin's Creed Syndicate is all the targets are fictional because the fact that the game was set only only about 140 years ago.
Yes.
Well, actually, it's about 130 years ago.
Yeah, about 130. Yes.
About 130 years ago, something like that. Hang on, no, would have been 150 something years ago. Actually, it was set.
Right. Right.
But because of that, they might have descendants still alive who might get offended
Yes, that's true.
if they were to make someone an antagonist. So
Yeah. So I don't even think they would even go as far as saying like World War II. They would never touch that. Or World War One.
World War II, the barge part.
No, nothing like that.
Mean, they have written in World War II facts and lore. For
Yes.
example, Hitler was associated with the Templars and killed a body double in the bunker and took a piece of Eden with him to go and meet Winston Churchill, where he was killed by assassins outside of the bunker, I think.
Right.
And then he was
right.
burned.
Right.
The body was burned.
Right.
So that explains that. But
So it could even
Stalin
be
was killed by
possible.
assassins too.
It could even be possible that the 2017 Assassin's Creed game could be, in fact, a prequel to the first one, like the making of Al Mualim, for example.
Well, Al-Mualim was a Templar, I think, by some sort of stretch. I'm not sure about Al-Mualim, but I think I think he was an assassin, actually. Sorry.
He was an assassin, but he ended up getting power hungry because he got the piece of Eden.
Yeah, well, I thought it had some sort of tie with the Templar. I think he made a deal or something. I feel as if that for a protagonist to work right, they've got to make him a protagonist and not,
Yeah, that's true. Not the antagonist, exactly.
I mean, I understand. Like, I don't want a power-hungry character. I mean, protagonist. They can be an assassin or Templar, to be fair. Because what I've learned when playing the Assassin's Creed games is that both the assassins and Templars are equally as bad as each other.
That's true. It's true.
Like, it's all about perspective. Until Rogue, we thought, the Templars are pretty evil, to be fair. And then when you saw how the assassins are portrayed in Rogue by Shay's eyes, because Shay was a Templar,
Right.
you sort of think, they're the exact same as the Templars, aren't they, really?
Yes.
Like,
they're no
doing
different.
the same
Exactly.
stuff.
It's just a matter of nuance, and the nuance is what makes the difference, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And because of that, I think that, the protagonist doesn't have to necessarily be assassin or Templar.
Right.
It could just be like a bystander. I mean, in Edward's sense, that was butchered, but because Edward in Assassin's Creed 4 didn't become an assassin until right at the very end. So as long as they're intertwined in it a little bit,
Yeah.
I think that they can do something with it. I think they should be intertwined with it in a sense that they are actually a part of one of the orders, but they don't necessarily have to be an assassin. Though because it's Assassin's Creed, I would say stick with the assassins, to be fair. But
It's true.
The one thing I would love to see is more Templar games.
That's true. Like, it would be a spin-off. It would be in the same lore, just from a different perspective.
Yeah, they just need more Templar games, to be fair, so that you can, get that real proper feel about it. Because although Shay was an assassin turned Templar, and there's a little bit more room for that, I want to have a full Templar game where you're like a Templar hunter and you don't use hidden blades and stuff.
Exactly.
And sort of hunt assassins and fight them and sort of use your own metal to sort of, beat them.
Right. And they can take a cue from games like Crusader Kings and stuff like that.
Stuff like that, yeah, where you can sort of, I'm not going to say choose your side, but have games set on one side and games set on others.
Right.
So you can sort of, I suppose...
That would expand the library, too. But I got to say this, too, as a bit of a caveat, too. I'm glad that they're taking a year off from doing the AAA gaming.
Oh, that
because,
takes like 2 of us and 100 others.
Yeah, definitely, because...
About 100,000 others, actually.
Because
a good few
you
more.
can ruin a game like that. Tony Hawk has suffered that sort of fate, I guess, in a sense. Call of Duty is another one where they just kind of hash the same thing.
FIFA was always quite bad, to be fair. But FIFA 04, sliding tackles and breaking people's legs, yes. Gotta
But
love that.
I think it's because that they realize that they have a better capability with the hardware that's available now with the PS4 and Xbox One and the new Nvidia 1080 that just came out. They have to push the limits of what they can offer to people, which is
Yeah.
why I'm thinking this is another thing that I've been wanting to bring up with you. I was thinking that they might actually put a exclusive multiplayer game. It would be an MMO of Assassin's Creed.
That would make me want to shoot myself in the leg.
I know. But with the way that the market is trending and multiplayer games, especially with esports on the
I
rise,
think
I
I'm
wouldn't be
hoping that
surprised.
Ubisoft learned their lesson with Unity.
That's
but
true.
At the same time, I wouldn't put it past Ubisoft. One of the companies who have fallen in recent years, like taking a tumble and hitting themselves on the head 100 times.
That's true.
And I wouldn't put it past them to sort of delve into that and sort of see if they can get some more profit from that. I mean, desperate times mean desperate measures.
Exactly.
I feel as if that would be one of them, and I wouldn't put it past Ubisoft. Although with Assassin's Creed, they probably would ruin it with that. I mean, just look at the Elder Scrolls Online. That doesn't give the Elder Scrolls series any credit whatsoever.
It doesn't. No, it's still an enjoyable game. I'm playing it, so to be fair, it's a really good game. But yes, I agree with you. It doesn't really feel like an Elder Scrolls game. It feels like an MMO.
But with Assassin's Creed, it probably wouldn't be great at all because sometimes they struggle to make good Assassin's Creed games these years, like normal ones. Because if you look at Unity, it was. I can't put it in a good light because to be honest with you, it was a mess.
Yeah, it was.
And I couldn't really enjoy it or like it or anything like that. I mean, I had moments where I thought this is all right or this was all right, and well, this was good. Stuff like that, but overall it was just this is not good at all, sort of thing. And I thought
yeah,
why? I mean, I'm glad that they released Rogue the same year as that because if that was the only Assassin's Creed game that year, I would have probably shot myself in the leg.
I agree
Rogue,
with you though.
Which was the Shade game, which was really really good actually.
Yeah.
To be fair, I mean it wasn't necessarily the best Assassin's Creed game ever or anywhere near it, but it was really really good. It was great actually. I love it, and it had an amazing soundtrack too.
Yeah. Like I said, the soundtracks for these Assassin's Creed games, depending on which one, like you said, it's really immersive. It adds to the experience, so I love that.
Yeah, they've got some decent soundtracks going on. I mean, they've had Lorne Balfe compose Assassin's Creed 3.
That's right.
They could do the Ezio trilogy.
Yeah.
They had I think they had someone called Elitza Alexandria or something along those lines do Rogues.
Yeah, and just for
was
kids,
by far one of the best Assassin's Creed soundtracks of all time ever.
Definitely, yeah.
Without a doubt, that's the main theme for that is probably the best actually.
Oh, absolutely.
Although the Assassin's Creed 2 Ezio theme is just as good, to be fair.
Yeah.
And it's almost the same thing, to be fair, except the Rogue one has a bit of the Assassin's Creed 3 sort of baseline.
Right.
And Assassin's Creed 3's one by Lorne Balfe was good. The Assassin's Creed 4 main theme by Brian Tyler was fitting and pretty nice, actually.
Yes.
And the main original Assassin's Creed theme, I don't even know who composed that.
Jesper Keen.
Was it the first one?
Yeah, he did the first, second, and Brotherhood.
And what about Revelations? Who did that?
I don't know. I think they'd gotten somebody totally new. It's the same one who did 3.
Lorne Balfe?
Yes, I believe so.
It could have been, to be fair.
Yeah.
No,
yeah, you'd have to look that up.
It was actually composed by the Revelation soundtrack was composed by Jesper Kid and Lorne Balfe and produced by Hans Zimmer.
Oh, Hans Zimmer. Yeah, okay.
But it was Lorne Balfe and Jesper Kid.
Yeah.
But why does Hans Zimmer dip his nose into everything? That's the question.
I know. See, that's why I think the original 3 were executive produced by somebody who I've always grown up watching because we have a show here in Canada called Electric Playground. I think it's called Reviews on the Run now. But basically, it was Victor Lucas, no relation, and Tommy Tallarico, who's the nephew of Steven Tyler from Aerosmith. They were hosting it. And there was a young lady by the name of, what's her name again? Come on now. Don't mess this up.
You trying to remember the name?
I'm trying to remember her name. Gosh darn it. Jade Raymond. Jade Raymond, who executive produced the first one, the second, and Brotherhood, which I think that is the best trilogy right there. Even though the first one is kind of probably a weak version, the controls being a little bit clunky, so on. I still think it was a very good first effort, and it really set the
Yeah.
tone for what
Well,
the
you're
rest
never
of the
going to get
series would
something
be.
perfect first time, are you?
Exactly. It's very rare that you get something well the
With
first time.
games, it's a lot. Well, with films, you can do it, but with games, because games are games, you're never going to get the first one perfect.
Well, it depends. I mean, Donkey Kong's still a classic,
Oh,
and
Donkey Kong, for sure.
if you go old school, right, like the old Atari and stuff like that, those
Yeah,
were very good first efforts. But now in a modern era where video games are kind of in the second golden age now,
I
then yeah.
mean, if that Donkey Kong was released this year, though, what would you think?
Ooh, I think people would still have a nostalgic view for it because it's
Yeah,
old school,
but
and there are
nostalgia
people.
implies that you played it like 10 years ago or something.
That's true, but
I
it
mean,
still has an 8-bit era. If the era of 8-bit was still intact and Donkey Kong was released today, it would still have a massive audience because
yeah,
everybody loves high scores. Everybody loves to get high scores.
yeah. The one thing nobody loves is microtransactions, which is where Unity went wrong again.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
I don't understand why they use microtransactions. It's like, okay, you've got a really bad game on your hands. How do we make it just worse to bury ourselves? Just,
It's true.
just break the funeral bell.
Yes, absolutely. They did the same thing with Diablo 3 when they had the auction house there. That was a real kind of a deal breaker for some people. When they got rid of it, then the game got good again because it was about rare loot and so on.
Didn't they advertise Diablo 3 around the time that Skyrim was announced? And then they only
Yes.
recently released it, like...
Yeah.
When did they release it?
Oh, Diablo 3 was in 2011. Yeah, same year.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well, that's
Because I'll
interesting.
never forget that day, 11/11/11. I'll never forget that day.
Skyrim.
Yeah, I'll never forget
It's
that.
actually the War Memorial Day for the First World War here in the
That's
United
right.
Kingdom.
Yeah,
And
that was
for some
Remembrance
reason,
Day. Same
Bethesda
year.
love releasing games on that day.
I know.
It's just like, let's lighten everyone's mood because everyone's going to be sad because 100 years ago, loads of people died.
Right. And
Yeah.
like I said, the socio-political commentary in these games, they very much reflect stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's another reason why I love Skyrim so much, is because it's sort of, though they don't really do much about, like, they reflect, say, culture more than they do politics.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it does reflect culture quite a bit, and
Yes.
especially Northern European sort of culture,
They do.
as well as Scottish and
Yeah, exactly. So there's a
to
lot of
some extent.
Canadian references. The Nords kind of act like Canadians in a sense, and in a very another sense, it's a totally.
I thought, well, yeah, no, I don't tend to see logs sideways in Skyrim though when I'm walking, but
No.
I don't really hear many apologies either. Everyone's quite rude.
No, that's true. So there's one aspect of it that's kind of Nordic in the sense that they have a sense of honor, a sense of tradition, you know what I mean? So there's
Yep.
that.
It's very warrior oriented.
Yes. Canadians are pretty warrior intense, just our army sucks, that's all.
Yeah,
I love Canada and stuff, but
just like how the United Kingdom is very tea intense. So
yeah, exactly.
if there's a British person who isn't drinking a cup of tea, don't take that man seriously. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah.
he's got to be having fish and chips, or he's got to be drinking tea.
Yeah, and if a
That or
Canadian
he's gonna
doesn't
have
apologize,
Guinness.
he's not a true Canadian.
And you got to take him seriously.
Exactly. Oh, goodness. However,
So-
Ethan, I think I might have to wrap things up here. I have to get dinner started, sadly.
Well,
But-
no worries. I think that was where I was intending on wrapping things up. But I have one final question for you, Mario. Are you
Sure.
ready for this?
I'm ready.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what is your favourite fish?
Ethan. Fishy Arbster.
On a scale of 1 to 10.
Yeah, but I answered your question.
Oh, he sort of did, but the question was a rock and a hard place. So
I know. I'll go 11.
yeah, 11. This is great. Well, thanks for coming on, Mario. I mean, it's been
Oh,
really
thank you
good
for
talking
having
to
me,
you.
Ethan. Like I
mean,
said, man, you are a gentleman and a scholar. Thank you so much. It was an honor and a privilege. I had so much fun. It was excellent banter.
Yeah, I mean, I've had several people on here, and we've been bantering and sort of getting lost in our toxic sort of conversations, where we talk
Yeah.
quite about some pretty funny stuff, and that it was great. But
Oh,
this is great for a different reason, because we actually got to sort of talk about stuff on a more down to earth sort of level.
absolutely,
I mean,
man.
just equally as great as previous people we've had on before, and definitely worthy of subscribing. So there'll be a link to his YouTube channel, Twitch, and Twitter, as well as Facebook
Yes.
in the description. If you could pop the links to me in like a DM, that would be really helpful, actually.
Oh
But
yeah, I'll do
thanks
that
for
for
watching,
you.
everybody. I hope you had, or listening actually, because it's just a physical image, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I hope you had a good one. Everyone will be sure to go ahead and subscribe to Mario. There will be a link in the description, and I'll see you all in the next one with another video. So this bit you might not be familiar with, Mario, but I have people do my outro for me. So do you know what I say?
What's that?
Well, I do my like so yeah thing.
See ya.